So about how long have you been friends with Madeline?
About 30 years.
And tell me how you first met her and what your immediate reaction was to her.
Okay. She replaced a prior personal banker that I had at Bank of America. And we met and talked.
And Jeff, when you talk, you look straight into the iPad.
Okay.
Yes.
And, we talked, and she was obviously very competent and very friendly, and we hit off very well. And then we started to go out as couples socially, her and her husband and myself and my wife.
And what is that unique kind of, and also I hear a sound somewhere in there.
Okay.
Just to make sure that nobody is doing anything around you. So it's perfect.
No, nobody's doing anything.
Okay. So what is it that's unique about Madeline that took it from you were, going to her for business purposes, and then now you're friends? What is it about her that takes a relationship from business to personal?
Well, she's easy to get along with. They're very social people. They make friends easily. They're fun to be with. They have a lot of enthusiasm for life. And so, it just worked out.
And what are some of the best memories that you look back on with Madeline in particular? Oh, it must be a good one.
Well, we went with them to Yellowstone about 4 or 5 years ago. And Dick kept wandering off. And Madeline would say to us, "You have to help me find Dick." And we would find him because Dick's so enthused about life that he's off photographing something, and he wants to get closer, and he's gone. And we did find him, and she looked at us and she said something to the effect of, "Now you know my life."
That's great. That is great. And
so,
what is it that's so fun about her in terms of a travel companion?
She's very enthused about what you're doing, like at Yellowstone. And she's a very good manager. She made all the plans, and we just have a lot of fun, and they're up for anything. You want to go, let's go do this. And they say, "Yeah, sure, let's go do this," and the other thing is that wherever we go, whether it's another country or Yellowstone, they know somebody there. In fact, my wife, Jo, and we all went to Yellowstone together. We were staying at the Lake Yellowstone Hotel, and we were a little late coming down to dinner, and they were waiting for us in the lounge, and they had met this couple, but they hadn't seen 5 minutes before. And they invited them to have dinner with us. And afterwards we all went into the bar and became great friends. And in the talk, we found out that we were all Vietnam era veterans. And this guy gave Dick and myself a, Vietnam veteran pin or whatever. And then Dick managed to make an appointment to meet him in Washington, D.C. at the Vietnam, memorial. And it's just that kind of spontaneous enjoyment of people,
She does seem like an incredibly joyful and flexible person. How important has that been in terms of friendship and getting through the trials and tribulations of life? What's her unique quality in terms of her flexibility?
Well, we've both gone through, the four of us have gone through a lot of things together, that families go through, especially as you get older. But they can be very empathetic with what your problem and vice versa. And I think there's a mutual respect for each other and, what we're all going through.
I think one of the most difficult times, obviously, for their family was when they lost Alexis.
Right.
What can you tell me about your memories of Madeline with Alexis before she passed and after that happened?
Well, first of all, Alexis was a lot of fun to be with. We had many dinners with her and did things. And she was just a wonderful person. And Madeline and Dick were both very, both superb with her. And, the love between them was very obvious. And it was quite a tragedy when she died so young. And so it was difficult for everybody. Of course, we were surprised because it happened so suddenly. But, we all, got through that together, I think.
What were the unique qualities of Madeline in particular that helped with Alexis's development, and also the fact that Matt was, in the mix and dealing with that situation as well? What did you see uniquely from Madeline?
Well, first of all, they were a family of 4 people. And she was treated, I'm talking about Alexis, just like anybody else. I mean, there was a lot of love, a lot of concern, a lot of allowing her to be as independent as she could be. And so it was really a remarkable relationship between a mother and a daughter. And that's the kind of people they are. They're they value their relationships, their children, their parents, and so they're an example that you can sort of use as a model, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I mean, Dick referred to her as the greatest person he's ever known.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when their house on Bay Island flooded and they had to move out, and they moved into an apartment, and they both did it really without complaint. The world didn't end. This will be what we're going to do. And they did eventually rebuild, and then they decided later on, to move. But, it wasn't the crying and screaming and how terrible life is for us. It was just, this is what we have to do. Let's get to it.
Right. And they had been through a lot in their lives, certainly at that point.
They've been through a lot. And the thing we also were sharing, Dick's mother was in a nursing home here and having problems at the same time that my in-laws were in a nursing home here. So we sort of had the same kind of problems to bounce off one another.
Oh yeah, because that's just agonizing. That is really, right. Really challenging. And how did Madeline handle that?
Everything that she does is competent. It's competent and enthusiastic, and we'll get through this. It's so. Tell me what phone calls I need to make. Tell me what how can I help you? So it's she is very competent in it.
And one of the things that's interesting about her is I hear how resolved she is in the things that she does, and she has a command of life and jumps right in there and gets things done, but then also has this insane flexibility. Is that something that, because especially as traveling companions, the situation, sometimes you get out there and the alpha dog just totally trashes the trip, but that doesn't sound like her.
No. I mean, we were in the Bahamas together, and it's like, okay, we have this opportunity to do this. Do you want to do it? Oh yeah, it sounds like fun. And you go on a sailing catamaran with a bunch of strangers, and before it's over, she knows half of them. I mean, it's they just, I guess it's because of the long Navy life that they lived, that you learn to make friends easily. but they seem to just like people.
Oh,
And
that's a
that,
beautiful thing to say.
yeah.
That is
And so,
really beautiful.
you know, sometimes you think, I don't want to get too close to strangers. They might want to steal my wallet, you know, but their attitude is, these are new people. They may have something to share with me that I don't have. You know what I mean? An experience or whatever. And you know, the friends we've met through them are all very nice too.
That is so beautiful that they're so open.
Yeah.
So as difficult as a challenge as this might be, you know, if you could have a word or a couple of words, you know, what words come to mind when you think of Madeline?
Well, Madeline says that she's really my sister.
Could you say that again?
Madeline always tells me that she's my sister. So,
That's so sweet and flattering.
yeah, yeah. And it would be nice.
And so what other words do you put together for her?
You know, she's just a wonderful person. You know, I think she is a wonderful role model for you know, women to be professional people, to have high self-esteem, to like yourself, and I could see that, you know, trying to impart that to Alexis too. But she's, you know, she's everything you would like your daughter to be.
Wow.
And you know, she did it at a time, which you know too, at a time when that wasn't that common.
That's right. I mean, I think that especially I was particularly blown away by the fact that she went back to college in her 30s, finished college.
With 2 children.
Amazing. And then came here and was just remarkably successful. And so the point you make, her saying that she thinks your sister and brother, it seems to me that she makes relationships on a constant basis that are just deeper than the average friendship.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Some people just reserve that for their family, but she, what is it? Does she treat everyone like family, or is that how she approaches life?
Well, I think that's the way she treats us. I think, you know, there are some people that genuinely like other people, you know, and see the good in them as opposed to, you know, the way other people might feel. And so it's very easy to get along with them, to like them, to talk to them about things and have them talk to us about things you normally might not talk to someone outside your family, you know? And so, you know, I mean, I'm not as good at socializing with strangers as they are. And so it's fun to watch. You know, it's, you know, they went to Ireland and all of a sudden, you know, they have, you know, dozens of people that they're friends with from Ireland. And, you know, oh, you know, maybe so-and-so will come over here and visit, or, you know, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, it's not usual, but it's wonderful if you can do that.
So true. They're like my role models as well. Can you think of anything else in terms of a story or a memory or?
Look at my wife.
Yeah. I'll try to think.
It's okay, because we've got a lot here. I just didn't know if there was something that you feel like, oh, I should have said this.
I had a bunch of them the other day.
Yeah, no.
Just reeling them off.
I said to her, she ought to do this interview. No, I think I've given you an idea of our feelings, and you know, they're the longest continuous friends I've ever had. You know, you have, I mean, I have friends from 40 years ago, but they've retired and they've moved to, you know, Alaska or someplace. So, you know, it's not a continuous thing. You know, partners in my medical practice have retired and left, and you don't keep in touch anymore, you know. But even when they have been in Florida, Oh, I will give you an example. When my wife has a cousin who they retired, they lived in New Jersey, they retired and they moved to Maui. And we had told Madeline and Dick about them, and Madeline and Dick wanted to meet them. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And then when Madeline and Dick finally went and stayed, semi-permanently there, and Nita turned out to have acute leukemia. They wanted to see her, and Madeline called her, and they wanted to be supportive if anything, if they needed anything, and they had never met them.
Oh.
It was just that, they were family.
We did, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. Once Nita was in remission, they invited them over to their house in Maui. So, it's just, it's friendship by association. But, Madeline was ready to do whatever they needed to have done. Her husband was flying back, and she got care on Oahu, and Mike was flying back and forth from Maui to Oahu. And she said, anything you need, call me. And she meant it.
Incredible. That does not surprise me. Oh, great stories.